Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School MTG. In this video I have round 3 of the Goblin Hero Cup tournament held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. This tournament was Atlantic and no other restrictions, so everything was the usual was allowed. And our tournaments are proxy friendly, so you may see some proxies here or there. I definitely used some proxies for my deck. This is the third round. First 2 rounds I've lost, so I'm 0-2 at the moment. So this is going to round 3. And ended up being 5 rounds for the initial group stage, and then there was top 4 and then finals, I believe, right? But I believe 2 rounds after that, after the initial group. So this is round 3. I'm definitely out by now. So it's more about just trying to do the best that I can and just trying to be get more experience with this particular deck, because as I've mentioned before, this was a tweaked version of the deck that I took to Hydrotil tournament. In that tournament, I ended up getting top 8. I was in 8th place. So definitely the deck has potential, but I made some changes to this version, so which I'm going to highlight now. So first, talking about the proxies. Volcanic Islands, I have none, so all 4 proxies. Underground Seas, I have 3, so one of them is a proxy. Badlands, I have none, so both of those are proxies. Looking at everything else, seems like everything else in the main deck is are real cards. So on the sideboard, I have an extra Abyss, which is a proxy, and I have an extra Falling Star. One is real, one is a proxy. But other than that, everything else are real cards for Old School Atlantic. So the top cards in terms of non-land cards are basically the same from my Hydrotil deck. So the deck is very similar. But I did take out white, so that is the biggest difference. So I only had a balance in the main deck in my other deck and for the Hydrotils, but I had disenchants and maybe something else. But I know I had at least 3 disenchants in the sideboard, right? So I think that is basically the biggest difference. And then of course, since I had white, my land base was different, and I needed less proxies for that deck. In fact, that deck, of course, was an in-person tournament, and most old school tournaments do not allow proxies. So that one was not. There were no proxies in that one. In this one, I'm leaning more. Well, I was gonna say I was leaning more red, but not really. I just eliminated white. So then the white producing dual lands that I had before are not needed. So I had to swap it for other things. So now that's where the Volcanic Islands come into play, and the Badlands. So just getting more red into the mix. I have at this point I had no red producing dual lands, because red is basically the color I've used the least, and I've invested the least in. So it shows in the lack of dual lands. So, but if I said, as I said before, in Dave's Time Warp tournaments, for the most part, so far, at least for our old school type events, we are always proxy friendly. All right, so with that out of the way, let us go into round 3, game 1. I'm on the left, opponent's on the right. I'm going first, I believe. None of us mulliganed. Underground Sea, Mox, and I pass. So I'm playing a Mono Green Weenie deck against a Mono Green Weenie deck. My opponent plays a land, Mox, and turn 1 Argothian Pixies. So the Pixies are the bane of my existence. All my creatures, of course, are artifacts, so that stops all of them. But I do have main deck Abyss and Fireballs. And especially against a Weenie deck, a Fireball can go a long way. If I can get it. So for me, I dropped a land and then I played a Basalt Monolith. So that's good. Turn 3, I already have, I'm going to have 6 mana. And then if I drop a land or whatever, 7 mana at my disposal. So, at least I was going to. My opponent crumbled that. So I gained 3. But then he attacks for 2. So I'm at 21. Plays a Scavenger Folks. So green is naturally resistant to my deck. So they have 8 cards usually that are tailor-made against me. So the Scavenger Folks will destroy my artifacts. And then the Argothian Pixies will handle any creature that's not flying. In this particular version, I don't think I have any flyers. So, okay, so I play another Basalt Monolith. I tap it, I play the island, and then I cast a Suchi. So nonetheless, that crumble didn't stop me from doing my game plan at the moment. So, but my opponent still had the Scavenger Folks, destroys the Suchi. I used the 3 out of the 4 to untap the Basalt Monolith. So I burn only for 1. So that's the combo I have with Suchis, because I have 4 Suchis in the main deck. So I play a Mishra's Factory. I take 2. I'm at 16, so I took 2 previously also. So yeah, I'm at 16 right now. And then opponent plays another Scavenger Folks. So he is getting lucky, definitely. But this is game 1, so he just naturally has these cards. So I have to manage, or only have 1 card in hand, so now I have none. So this is in anticipation of me getting a creature or something. So I use the mana instead to activate attack. And then I pass. So other than that Suchi, I've not gotten any other threats. You know, the factory is, of course, is a threat, but it's also a land, right? So it's situational. Opponent casts plays a Mace of If, then a that artifact that deals 2 damage. I forgot what it's called. Aeolipal. There we go. Okay, so I get another Suchi. So I always use the Basalt Monolith to cast the Suchi. That way, if it gets destroyed, I use 3 out of the 4 mana to untap it. And the nice thing about it is, even if it's untapped, I can still use the ability. So Suchi is, it's a good way to dump that mana. So my opponent ice storms my factory. He came in, attacked for, and then I'm at 12. So the Suchi cannot block the Pixie. So I have to do an Abyss or get lucky and get a Fireball. If I attack with the Suchi, it's just going to mace it. So I'm not getting, so I have to cast an additional creature on top of this. Okay, there we go. Fireball for 3. Yeah, to the Pixie and my opponent. So I did get the card that I needed. I pass. Oh, and during my turn, I attacked with the Suchi, and then he maced it, right? So, all right, the Basalt Monolith is still, yeah. I don't know if it was tapped from before, if I tapped it now, but I think I tapped it from before, because I have 4 mana tapped, so the Suchi must have been from that. Ooh, second Aeolipal, so he can sacrifice both to destroy the Suchi. So here I'm coming in. Okay, so right now he has a mace, so there's no rush. And I think those Aeolipals are more for like Hinata Specters, stuff like that. So opponent goes a House of Deep Shadow. My turn. Tapping the Basalt. Ooh, for Chaos Orb, and I have 1 mana floating, so I'm using the effect. So I'm going to destroy. Yep, I'm destroying the. I'm attempting to destroy the Maze of If. And I miss. So I think I've been poor with my flips. I was poor with my flips this whole tournament. And that one, yeah. The flip was nice, but I guess it just landed right on the edge, and then it just bounced back. So yeah, I was out of it. So with that out, I would come in for 4. But he still has the Aeola power, right? So okay, he said, okay, no. I thought he was attacking, but no, he's using the ability to get black mana. Let's see if we can peek at his card selection. Maybe hard tell. I crop the videos, right? Sometimes, so as I'm watching this, I can see his deck as he's shuffling through. But maybe it's cropped out by the time I'm making this video public. So yeah, I wasn't able to tell what card he chose. All right, opponent offers me to cut. I just tap it. All right, so let's see if he can cast whatever he got. Pixies. So yeah. He definitely tutored for Pixies. That makes sense. It basically is unblockable. I cannot do anything against it. Other than 4 cards, really. Fireballs and Abysses. So I am Ancestral, though. So I was lucky. Ooh, there we go. So, yeah, another factor that's good. Because now I can attack, and then he can only mace 1. So I cast, then use 2 more mana for a mana vault and a soul ring. So I have a lot of mana. Let's see, 3, 5, 3, 6, 8, 19, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If I get a fireball, I could just kill him right away. And I've definitely won games like that. Or if I get a demonic tutor, and I'm at 12, so I can stall things out. But my opponent just needs to attack 4 more times. Because once he gets me to 4, he can just Aeola Pal for the remainder. Okay, he does have a factory as well. Sometimes I've been poor at keeping track of my opponent's factories. Attacking when I'm not supposed to because I didn't notice the factory, things of that nature. Okay, not much happening here. Oh, except I missed it, the Ice Storm. So now I can no longer Fireball. Okay, it's doing double. Yep, I use 3 and then I take 1 only. And now I got no. Okay, well, okay. Ooh, I missed a lot. Okay, yeah. So I was distracted for a bit, and then I missed the Suchi and the Ice Storm hitting the factory. So my opponent came in for quite a bit of damage there. Okay, 4 mana. Okay, nice. Juggernaut. Of course, with the pixies, it'll just bounce back. But if he wants the pixie for offense, then he won't have it available. I guess he could maze the pixie after damage to have it as a blocker, but he could just maze the Juggernaut as well, right? So. Okay, I believe he's animating. Yep. Ooh, coming in for everything. So my Juggernaut blocks his factory, but then he grows it. So initially I did the math wrong, but yeah, basically they both kill each other because factory is 5/5. My guy's 5/3, so they deal 5 damage to each other. Second main casts a Pixies. So I'm getting lucky he has no Pendelhaven. I think the game would have run away for me a lot more. So I'm at 6 now, 13 for my opponent. 2 mana, twist him for 1. And I was kind of like being cute, but no, actually I got him. Got a Chaos Orb out of that. Okay, play some Mox. Attacking for 4. So I need something big. So a Fireball will still let me win. But I obviously didn't get it, or else I would be casting that and jumping for joy. Yep, I concede here. So yeah. So the main thing I'm noticing here is, I guess, lack of threats. And of course, as I mentioned, this deck is just naturally resilient to me. And this is game 1. So now he's going to add even more stuff, I'm sure. So this is now game 2. I'm on the left, of course. What kind of island? And I pass. So I usually would like to do a big creature turn 2, right? But now with just 1 land in play and no ramp, that's definitely not going to happen. And look at my opponent. Plays 3 cards in his turn 1. Me, I play another land. Oh, I time walk. So this is just a tempo play, just so I can start getting more resources than my opponent. But that's all I do for basically. Well, I mean, I drew a card and then played a land, so I'm definitely ramping up. And then by next turn, I'll have 4 mana hopefully, and then I could cast those Suchi or a Juggernaut, just hard cast it. Opponent played the Factory, I believe. So this is now turn 2 for him, right? So I had that extra turn. Right now, this is good that he only has 1 green. Okay, so Ice Storms my Badlands, but I mana drain it, so I'm gonna get 3 mana. He attacks for 1. So 3, and then with the 3 lands, if I have a... Okay, I use the 3 for the Monolith. I play a City of Brass. Okay, I definitely have a Suchi at least. If I cast it, I'm using the Basalt. For mana for a Suchi pass. So it dies. I'll get my Basalt Monolith untapped, and I'll take only 1. 2 mana, black, maybe. So it might be a Demonic Tutor again. Taking it back. Let's see. Or 2 black could be a him. Ooh. 4 mana. Ooh, Derrilor, and then the Scavenger Folk. I'm more afraid of the Scavenger Folk. The Derrilors, they're gonna trade with my Suchi. I take a damage. There we go, the Abyss. Nice. So definitely you can tell I was excited to drop that. So my opponent's turn sacrifices the elves. So for the Derrilor, I could just trade with the Suchi, or I could just take the damage. I'm still pretty high, so I will probably take the damage if he attacks, knowing that I could just attack back. But of course, my opponent had the Scavenger Folk, chooses to sacrifice it now, so that way his Derrilor can come in for the attack. I still took 1 damage from that. Okay, my opponent is activating and then attacking out, coming in for 6. I'm at 11. Passes. So the Derrilor's dead next turn. At least most likely. Yeah, there's nothing for 1 green that can destroy the Abyss. Yep. Derrilor is destroyed. One in place on our land. But the factory is getting around the Abyss. It stops being a creature, and then he activates it once the main phase starts. Yep, so yeah, factory is coming in, and I don't have really bolts or stuff like that, instant speed, direct damage, or side blast, which could be a mistake for my part. I play a 3rd volcanic island, and then I pass, which is not good. He's at 19 still, so he's coming in. Ooh, 2. So he giant growth the factor, so I'm at 4. I can get 2 more. He can get 2 more attacks in, and then I'm dead. Okay, I'm tapping the basalt, getting a juggernaut. Okay, so this prevents my opponent from attacking. Yeah, I said I'm still not done, so I have. Ooh, copy artifact on the juggernaut. So this is a big swing now. I was about to say that my opponent can just choose not to block it and then come in for the factory, but now I have 2 juggernauts. So if he does not, ooh, so I can stop that 3 no thought right there because he tranquilities and then cast a pixie. So that tranquility destroys my abyss and it destroys the copy artifact because the copy artifact remained an enchantment. So I attack, he blocks with the pixies, we just bounce off. I play a factory. So and I gotta do stuff or else because I'm a 4. Ooh, I get so not abyss. Alright, so that was a good call. So abyss gets rid of the pixies, or else I was in trouble because I cannot block that. Ooh, regrowth. Ooh, there's tranquility. Interesting. And then tranquilities. Again, he really wants to get rid of the abyss. So he's tapped out. Yeah, so I had the factory. I don't know if I forgot or not. But no, I think I probably would have kept it for defense. Because as I said, I'm at 4. If he attacks again in giant growths, I'm dead. But if not, then I can lay back because he's not going to attack with a factory that's 2/2 when I can make my factory a 3/3 blocker. So he's animating, attacking. So I'm saying, okay. Oh, but yeah, he's taking it back because he didn't notice the factor. And I allowed him to. Depending on the tournament, this may not be allowed, right? Like, or basically. your opponent wouldn't be okay with this. But honestly, I like this. It's competitive, but it's not like cutthroat and like, win at any cost kind of thing. It's competitive, but it's still very much fun. Plus, my opponent here, Jonathan, great dude. So I've had a lot of fun games with him. All right, so I'm stalling him out, which is good because I'm like on the cusp of dying. I'm surprised I've made it this long. So he's at 14. I'm still at 4 from before. So I played a Mox, I believe, whatever. I just got a lot of mana, like usual. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 mana at my disposal. Ooh, I think I'm doing math. I could be fireballing the pixies and the elves. Yep. So I'm doing 1 damage each, I believe, and then 1 to my opponent. Yeah, that would have been 6 mana. 3 damage, 2 additional targets, and then 1 initial. So I attack. He chooses not to block with the factory. So he's at 8. I'm at 4. So I've gone from 4 against 14, I think, or 8 or 19. I don't know, but there's a pretty epic comeback here. At least thus far. Ooh, that's tricky now. Place a second factory. But it still will be, it's still an even trade with a Juggernaut. Ooh. Animating. So now, there you go. So now they both can trade. Before that's why he wasn't attacking, because it wasn't going to be an even trade. But now it was, so he took it. Attack, he's does not have the factory, and he's not casting anything from his hand. Ooh, second Juggernaut. So here I'm, yeah, definitely. I was about to say I'm definitely getting a lot of threats, but I don't think I did. I think those 2, and that's it. So my opponent's at 3. I'm gonna attack for 10. Okay, now he has 2 defenders, so he can survive going into my turn. If I can destroy that elves, I win. Or at least I'm very likely to win. But no, I'm just attacking. He's blocking and tapping, so one of my juggernauts dies, but the board is clear from his side, other than the lands. So my main, number 2. Ooh, I cast an abyss. So he has no creatures, but I think this is more of a security thing, just in case, and might as well use the mana, but it was not needed. My opponent conceded soon after that. So yeah, that was a big difference in terms of what happened from game 1 to game 2, and I made a big comeback, right? So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, going into game 3. Opponent should probably be going first. So he won 1, I won the next. So this is game 3, the decisive. Ooh, so there we go. I don't think we've seen a Pendelhaven all this time. Turn 1 Pendelhaven elves. That's pretty good. 2 mana for me. I tap it. Ooh, I do the time walk trick again. Most times, 9 times out of 10, that's what time walk is for. Just for outpacing your opponent. Ooh, turn 2 the abyss. Nice. And then that kills his elves right off the bat. And of course, makes him have something to deal with. But this was very good card against the abyss. I've lost games that I probably should have won because of this exact scenario. An abyss that cannot target the whirling dervish, and then it's just going to keep attacking, getting bigger, bigger, and then I'm dead. Ooh, fireball for 1. And then I tap out for 4 mana for Atsuchi. So I don't have a factory, or monolith, so there's nothing for me to dump my mana if the Sushi dies. Hopefully I can get something. My opponent Tranquility destroyed the Abyss. Because, yeah, like, or else his hand is going to stay full because he can't cast anything. Or if they do cast, they usually wait a couple turns until they cast a whole bunch of creatures all at once. That way, he can still come in for a decent amount of attack while still losing one creature. So opponent goes Scavenger Folk, which is tricky. Definitely gonna. I was gonna say the Scavenger Folk's definitely gonna destroy the Suchi, but now the Crumble did it. And then I'm just gonna. It's a wash for the life. So I took 4 mana burn, but I gained 4 life from the Crumble, so my life total didn't change. I'm at 19. My opponent's at 16. But he has a Factory and a Scavenger Folk. Okay, so here I don't know if this was a mistake or not, because he had a Scavenger Folk. I mean, either way, right? He's gonna use it. So, or he was just gonna attack with it if I didn't cast. So at least I'm making him use it, and then he won't be available for other things. So I think that may have been my reasoning, at least initially. But yeah, I I think I had the in my mind during that play. After I noticed the Scavenger Folk, I was like, oh, actually, I shouldn't have played it. Maybe there was a different card I had in him. Okay, opponent's attacking, pumping. Second main, casting the elves. So I'm at 13. So I've been able to deal with his cards, other than Tranquility, of course. Unless I have a card spell, there's nothing that stops that. So I cast a Mana Vault, 3 mana, Falling Star. So as I've said and seen, my flips have not been good. And then again. I think it's flipping quite a few times, which is not good. And then just made that gives it more momentum and then just bounces off. But yeah, I felt both flips. You're not gonna win games if you do that. So here, that cost me 2 life additionally, because he could have come in for 4 if the elves were dead. So I would have been at 9 right now. So let's see if that's gonna end up making that big of a difference. Me, I just drew a card and then I passed, right? So that's gonna hurt. Third factory, animating the other 2, coming in for attacks, pumping and then he pumping with the third. Yeah, that's exactly 7. Like I said, if I didn't miss the flip, that would have been for 5 damage. And then I would have still been alive, but honestly, I think he had it no matter what. All right, so that ends up this game. I won 1 of the games, but my opponent ended up winning the round, won the other 2. So, taking a quick peek at the deck. I think also maybe my inexperience with the mulligans. I think I have to be more aggressive and wait until I have a threat in my opening hand. So it could be that. Or just that white, right? If I did have the white, I could have, let's see, against him, he's not really playing that. So the Aeola pile, but not much. So maybe it wouldn't have made such a big difference. At least against this particular opponent, right? But I think the balance actually, that is the card that could have. So right now I'm banking on the fireballs to get me out of a big mess. The Abyss can definitely also be even better, but it's a bit more situational, right? If my opponent has 3 creatures and I cast the Abyss, I'm still gonna get hit for quite a bit. But yeah, other than that, honestly, I'm surprised at my results so far. This is now 0-13 3. So 3 rounds, I've lost all of them, and then my flips have been horrible. So hopefully I can redeem myself in the next game. Thank you guys for watching.